So this is the Icons Bouquet of Roses from the Botanical Collection, and I'm super excited to build it and see what they look like and how beautiful they are. In this first book, we're going to actually build 4 that are exactly the same. So I'm going to try to actually build them all at the same time, but I figured the problem out. In the instruction book, it actually says to make these 4 roses, we need bags 1 and 2. So we're going to open up bag 2 here at the same time. All right, we got past hurdle 1 there. So we're going to try to build these up to see how they're going to look. I absolutely love roses. I just think that they're just so elegant and beautiful. And a couple of years ago, I decided to put in a rose garden in my backyard around a stone patio that we put in. I had never actually grown roses before. So it's been a new experience for me, and it's been, so you can see that we made 4 of these to start with. It's been a bit challenging because they're a lot pickier than the other flowers that I grow. They deal with disease a bit more. They need a little bit more maintenance. But I got some bare root roses last spring, and I put them in. I put in some knockout rose bushes before that, and they do pretty well down here actually. But the other roses that I got were the tea roses, and I'm not sure, I think they're mostly the tea roses, but they've struggled a little bit more, but they also are, seems like they're 10 times more beautiful. They have bigger blooms and a bit more of an impressive flower. I'm putting these pieces together with this dark hunter type green, and quite a few of them per flower. I figured this set would be a little bit more repetitive, but I think it'll all be worth it in the end. But I had 3 beds that I started to fill roses in, and I loved them so much. I had some, actually the roses came in packs of 2, the bare root roses, and so I didn't know what to do with all of them because they grow to be pretty good sized, and so I put in another big bed. So my backyard is quickly filling up to have roses everywhere. And they go together like that. I don't think I've quite made enough yet, but yeah, I think I'm missing 2. I think my favorite are the yellow roses that I have, which are blooming really well, bloomed really well last year, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year, but they're just so beautiful. I look out my kitchen window and just cheer me right up. Let's see, it's kind of hard. There's a lot of pieces here. I'm going to try to see if I can pull some of these bigger ones out. I'm sure we're going to need those later. They're kind of getting in the way of seeing some of these smaller pieces. Okay, let's see. Normally I like to organize my pieces. Sometimes the dark colors make it difficult for my eyes to pick out exactly what I'm looking for. There we go, just one more piece to find. One of these dark gray connectors. Let's see, where are you hiding? There he is. Okay. We're going to put 2 of these on each one. Make sure we're building up the bottom part of the flower. I have some purple roses too, and they take a really long time. The bud just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and they seem to, like, they're never going to bloom, and then when they do bloom, they're really big and gorgeous, and they last for a long time and bloom before they fade away. Some black droid looking arms here going in. I have yellow and purple roses, and then I have 2 different varieties that are really exciting because they change. I have to look up the names of them. I have them written down somewhere, I forget. They change colors. So one of them opens as a white rose, and then very quickly, I mean, I'm talking within a couple days, it starts transitioning over to a red rose. All right, so they're telling us now to bring this up like this. Okay. Maybe not all the way, but there we go. And those are, I think it's called, oh, that's the name of it. That rose is called White Lies. So that's a lot of fun to watch that one, but my favorite one that changes starts as a yellow rose, and then he changes to pink. And he does it in this most beautiful way with the pink that just kind of keeps getting darker and darker. It never goes to too dark of a pink, but just really beautiful to watch these flowers grow. So if I can just somehow figure out to keep them healthy, I figure I'm going to have a really beautiful rose garden eventually. Okay. All right. Put that piece. We got to put one of these pieces on, and then this one goes on. This is quite the middle, and another one of those. We'll do that on each one. Doesn't look like quite the rose yet, does it? Okay. I was so worried that the new roses wouldn't winter well, and I might lose some of them, so the last batch of flowers, I cut them and then I dried them so that I could put them in a jar to keep after they dried. But I went out the other day and they're all shooting off new blooms. Not blooms, they're leaves. Their leaves are starting to bud out already here because it's been so warm. So everybody seemed to have made it through the winter. So we'll just see if we can get them through the spring. All right, we're gonna, well, first, okay, let's see. They want us to take 2 of these together, and then 2 of these. The thing that scares me the most with these early springs that we've been having is all the plants start to bloom, but then we'll get these frosts that come through, these hard freezes, and then I'm out there every night covering up the plants with sheets and whatever I can find, and going in the morning and taking them off, and so that I don't lose anybody. That piece decided to check out the floor and see how it looked down there. Right, so we have these, and we're going to flip it over. We're going to put them in like this. So now the fun will begin with keeping everybody alive through any freeze that comes up. Okay, let me see what they're doing here. They have, this is an interesting piece. I have seen many of these pieces throughout the years with this little turned up little lip here, but this has these sides to it, so it's very similar, but it's, oops, excuse me, it's larger than that one. If you can kind of, well, get this angle right for you, see. So we take, oh, no, we can put this down. Okay, make sure I'm doing this right. So we take this one and we put it on this side. I'm trying to, this is a little tricky. Take another one and we put it on the other side, okay? And then we take the smaller version and using those side connectors on it, it goes down low. Here we go. Okay. I was thinking that this would be the middle of the flower for some reason, but it's actually the bottom of it. All right, so now that we know what we're doing, go a little quicker. It's a little bit of a snug fit on this one down here because it's bumping up against the screen. These are going to be so pretty. And I'm excited that they added in the white baby's breath to complement them, which is pretty traditional, but just a perfect combination, which is why it's lasted through the years, I suppose. So that was nice that they kept that in there. All right, so we have all of the flowers to this point. We're going to take these triangle pieces and put them, let's see, like this. So little parts of the bud coming out still. Oops. Don't quite want to stand up there, do they? All right. Well, this is very cool. They're just looking really nice already, aren't they? I love the botanical collection that they have been releasing. I don't have all of them. I'm working on collecting them. My daughter is very much into it, and I think she has. I don't think she has the roses yet, but I think she has everything else. And she puts them in her room. I think I did that one backwards. I'm sure if I put every single one on right. All right, look at this. We get to put in some larger petals now for these guys. So obviously this is just coming out of its bud, which I thought was cool. I can tell by the picture that they were doing them in various stages of them opening up, which is one of the parts I love, going out every day and checking on my flowers and getting so excited when somebody starts to open up. And then the ones when you just let them grow on their plant, they have a tendency to get really open up and get really big, like you never really see with the cut ones that you buy. All right, I'm going to make a bunch of these. These are part of that covering that comes over the rose when it kind of falls down and opens up. So they want me to make quite a few of these per row. So we're just going to make a bunch of these little pieces. Are kind of hard to see. They're just because it's so dark, but they want us to make, because there's two ways that these go. So you've got the opposite. So it looks like each flower gets two of each of them. So I'll try to keep them organized here with, line them up with what we're making. Assuming we'll probably just make all of these that are out here. There's one of that side. Then they'll snap on there real nice. I guess I didn't realize that if you left them on the plant and just allowed them to have their moment growing on it, that they would get that big and open up that beautiful. They probably just don't have the nutrition and just don't last as long when they're cut. So I don't really cut them and bring them inside much. I just let them allow the outdoors to become beautiful. Okay, let me see. I'm going to take one and turn it over, and it looks like that they alternate. So we'll put one on here. All right, let me see here. Oh, they go here to here, because this little droid arm that we put in, you can see that it's kind of blocking it from being. Make sure I did that right. Okay. And then they kind of get folded down, just like that. So you can see that it's coming. It's interesting to me that they didn't put one there, but all right, we'll do that all with these. Just alternating them around. There you go. I probably need to actually put in an actual red rose bush. I do have some coral ones, colored ones, and love those, but when I've got a lot of blooms going on at the same time, if you walk out into my back patio and the wind hits you, it smells very, very much like a rose garden. Okay, so we're going to make the stems now, and I'm sure we're going to make 4 of the exact same kind. I'll just kind of start copying everything here. I like the pieces that they use to make the flower stems, and one of the things I love the most about it is you can change the sizing on them. So if you had a vase that was shorter, you could alter that. If you have one that's taller, you'd have to add pieces, but looking for the last little one here, and he is hiding. Oh no, I did all 4. Look at that. I'm trying to make 5. Put these in the bottom zone now. I did, for the wildflowers, I got a vase that I thought was the perfect size, but it ended up being a little bit too tall, and so then the flowers were kind of buried in it. And oh boy, so I actually ended up just stuffing some packaging paper down in the bottom of it to just kind of add a bottom to the vase so that the flowers kind of rested on the paper, and that actually worked out really well. I'm going to basically make a whole bunch of these and pop them together. But some of my flowers back here are from the different collections, and I was able to just do the same thing. I just shortened their stems, and they fit in my little vase just perfect. That'll be one thing on the list, is I'm going to have to find the perfect vase to display my roses in around the house. We have to be so careful with live plants or cut flowers, because one of our cats in particular thinks it needs to have a salad if anything's on display. We have a glass display cabinet that we can put them in and they can't get to them, but otherwise we have to be really careful. And roses, cats can, they're not poisonous to them, so technically they can eat them. Now baby's breath is, so we can't have that out. But then your roses end up becoming the cat's, snack, and they don't look so good after a while. So I enjoy displaying the Lego flower collections and leaving the real flowers to the outdoor garden. And that way we don't have any issues. All right, I did a whole bunch of those. Kind of hurt my fingers. And it looks like they put 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on each one of these. I'm counting it right, because after you put on the other one, it would almost be 8. So the one thing I can't figure out, I'll have to research it, is when roses come cut, they do have a very long stem that they're on. Counting here, 5. And with my roses outdoors, I would never be able to cut that long of a stem for one rose without actually cutting off a whole bunch of other stems that come out that go to other roses. So it seems like that they really end up, no, one more, they really end up cutting off a lot of the rose bush for just that one stem to be cut. But maybe there's a different variety for what they're using in the, that you can buy for cut flowers, because I wouldn't want to lose that much of my plant. All right, and these are going to just go right into there. And there you go. A really gorgeous rose. Which is really exciting to have these all made. So let's push those over there so we can see them while we build the others. And this is interesting. It says here, I have this heart here, and it says, no one knows the exact origin of the abstracted symbol for a heart, but it has appeared on Greek vessels as early as 400 BCE. So they put the little heart in there for us. All right, so we're going to move on to book number 2 and double check, and here we go. We don't make the same mistake. We're going to use bags 3 and 4 to make the next flower. Group of flowers which have opened up a little bit more. Alright, I'm going to do a real quick separation so that we can be able to find our pieces a little bit easier, because last time it got a little bit tricky. A lot of times when I build sets, I do a lot of separating out, so my eyes don't have as hard of a time picking up. This is interesting. It's like a little wheel hub that we're going to use. Which I have a tendency to become obsessive with organizing Lego pieces. Probably stems from when I sort my pieces from my when I sort the bulk selection that I have into organized buckets. Okay, let's see what they've got here. We're going to start with one of these. We're going to make 4 of the same. So all our flowers grow at the same time. Now wait a minute, we've got this funky looking little piece that's going to go in. And then we're going to put this on top of it, hold it in there. Okay. So let's see what happens after this. Okay. So they're actually putting in a thorn here, which is interesting because it says here in the book, I'm trying to find the thorn. There we go. They're like a dark burgundy color. It says here in the book that the thorns are often removed from cut roses, but this one has escaped the pruning clippers, which, boy oh boy, do my rose bushes have thorns. So funny how such a beautiful thing can have that on it, and I when I'm in there pruning out, you know, the fading flowers. I've gotten poked more than once on them. They go right through your gloves sometimes. I don't wear super thick gloves because I feel like I can damage the plant more, so I've had a few episodes with the thorns, but I think that's pretty cool that they actually added that in there. Alright, we're gonna put this on. Looks like we're working on the stem before the flower here, which is kind of the opposite of the last one. Okay, now we're gonna put this wheel looking thing on them. I'm gonna go ahead and actually put this because this goes on next. This little pink piece. I don't know that I've seen that piece in pink before, so that's a lot of fun. Oops, put this on first. There we go. Oh, he doesn't want to go on. I like it when they stick in a color you're not expecting into a set. Alright, so now we're going to put these on. This flower is not the way I was expecting it to go together. Kind of throwing me a bit here what in the world they're doing. Be fun. Okay, if we put this little green cylinder on and another pink connector piece. Gotta figure out what that one's called. Gonna have to start doing flashcards like I made my kids do in school to learn all these piece names. Okay, this is an interesting thing that we've created, isn't it? We're gonna take one of these and turn it that way and pop it on. So obviously now we're starting the flower, probably. A very interesting process to get there. I know that these ones have leaves on them, so we're probably working in the support for those. Okay. All right. Now we're gonna need, oh goodness, we're gonna need all of these. So let me just grab them here. It's the next step. But we're also gonna need this piece and this piece. And we're gonna make this little connected piece. Okay. So we're gonna make a whole bunch of these to create one of the layers of the petals. Make sure I'm putting them in the right, everything in the right way, because I'm sure it's gonna matter when we connect it all. It's probably not a set that has a whole bunch of exciting moments in it because you are building up a lot of the same thing, but that tends to happen with these sets, and it's all worth it at the end when you get to display them, but when you're building them, it gets a little repetitive. Which, to be honest with you, can end up just being kind of relaxing because you're not having to constantly be figuring out what to do. You just and the same thing's kind of like house cleaning. You know what you have to do, you're going through, everybody kind of gets an order of what they do first and second, and I find it, if I'm stressed out, I find that the thing that will kind of calm me down and relax me the most is actually go clean a room. You come out at the end of it calmer, more relaxed, and you have a clean part of your house. So you get all kinds of good things that happen out of it. But of course, building a Lego set can do the same thing. Sure, you don't come out with a clean room, but definitely come out feeling more relaxed and ready to tackle whatever comes next. All right, we built a whole bunch of those. And now what we're gonna do is they have us flipping them over and putting them, I'm trying to figure out exactly how they have this kind of positioned here, putting us in every other one. Oops. Okay. Now we have them in there, and then watch this. This part's going to be really exciting. And I'm trying to figure out, I feel like that they're supposed to all air towards one side, because I think that's going to be important. So I'm pulling them all to where they're kind of, and then when we put them up, they kind of alternate inside of each other. Did you catch that? I'll do it again for you. So that they kind of nest inside of each other. And that's probably one of the most impressive things I've built in a really long time. Okay, let's try that again because that was a lot of fun. So I put it like this, and then on the little bar here, I made sure that that it snapped in and pushed it all the way up as far as it could go. And I did that on every single one, so that they were all closest to me on the bar. And then when you start putting them in, it's best if you kind of get them all going up a little bit, and then this one will overlap this one, and this one will overlap that one, and so forth. And you go all the way around and just kind of nest them inside of each other. These might be my favorite. That's really cool. I was wondering how they got them to look like that spiral in there, so super exciting to be able to actually figure that out. Okay, so then you just kind of, there you go. Glue them right up so his petals can just kind of open out. What a genius design. I can't tell you how many times I want to just be able to go up to one of the Lego designers and just be like, that was amazing. Just let him know. Now wait a minute, we got a little bit of a, he's got to go inside of there. There we go. Let him know what an incredible job that they do. Right, now we're going to double up these. I'm not sure, this is probably for these larger petals to go on. So we snap two of those together. So this is going to be a whole lot of making these, because we basically have to make, if there's 4 on a rose, then we have to make 16 of them. Same way we did the last one. A lot of little snapping together. Get that straight. It's going to be hard to pick which one of the styles here are my favorite. I believe that there's only three styles. So they had the closed up, you know, the just opened up bud, and then this one's obviously coming open a little bit more. And the last one is going to be fun to make, though. They use a whip piece. A whip as in what Indiana Jones uses to create part of the middle, so I'm excited to see that rose come together. Of course, we'll have to make up the stems, which probably are very similar to the last one, but it looks like we already made a good portion of the base of them. If you guys have been making any of the botanical collection, comment below and tell me what your favorite one that you've made is so far, what you've collected. I have the wildflowers. I have some tulips. What else do I have? I haven't collected all of them. I know there's something else hanging out here. Matt does have the bonsai tree. He hasn't made it yet. But my son has that, and he's made that, and it's on display in his room. He really likes that, and he loves the use of the pink frogs to create the flower petals for the spring. That was another genius move. All right, I think I've made all of those. All right, I'm thinking that these are some extra pieces, so we're just gonna kind of pull those out there. Oops. Okay, now let's grab a rose again. And this is the part that's confusing me, exactly where this... Okay, so these pieces that we snapped together, they do have a hole that goes straight through them. So this brown looking spinny piece, we're going to alternate them. So once again, we're kind of fitting them inside of each other. I'm going to go right in there and create this base here. That's pretty cool. Okay. And then it puts it at a nice lower level for the other petals to be attached to. I think what I look for in a set when I buy it is for something in that set to have that moment that just was like, oh wow, that's really cool. It gets you kind of excited, and so I think those end up being my favorite sets, are the ones that just continually just kind of wow me with the technique. All right, yep, right on here. Now these gonna snap right into those. There's a few sets recently that have really just knocked my socks off, and of course one of those is Rivendell, which I'm not sure anything can quite come to that. The amazingness, if that's a word, of that set. All right, I see how it's just opened up just a little bit more than this one. But the blacksmith shop that was released a bit ago, I think it's retired now. I could be wrong about that, but it was just unbelievable. It had so much detail in it. I bet you could even choose how much you wanted to kind of have them open up. I'll close it up a little more. I have to say that I was disappointed with the Lion's Night Castle a bit. I mean, a tiny bit. Maybe not even enough to mention it, but I expected something a little bit more from it. I expected it to be... There was a couple parts in it that were really, really cool and amazing, and I'm pretty well convinced that there were two very distinct designers that did each side of that, or they planned it that way, because one side felt very old school as far as the style of building. So now we have all 4 roses done, and we're going to build up a whole bunch of these, because they say that each one of these has 8 per stem. So I'll just pop these all in. But one side of the castle was built in a very traditional kind of way, without a lot of the use of the newer techniques that are being used to create just crazy cool things that you just didn't think about the bricks being able to do. There was angles worked into it though, and that is a newer technique, but for the most part it was built kind of like the older castles, which I have a lot of. But then you went to the other side, to the, oh goodness, what is that called? Is it the keep? The part where the entrance gate is, and it was built on a totally different style. I mean, you had a lot more moving parts in it, interactive pieces, and it definitely felt like it was a totally different style of building. So that was cool that you kind of got 2 different techniques or styles built into the same set. But I don't know, for as big of a set as it was, I expected a lot more. I expected to be constantly, wowed and really excited about stuff, but it just kind of built up. It's beautiful to look at, and it's a very, very, very cool set, but I don't know, I was just expecting a little bit more and was a little disappointed that we didn't have that. extra little hidden thing all over the place. So I still love it. I'm still glad I have it. But I'm going to actually separate these out real quick so I don't have to sit there and count off every single one. Put those into groups of 8. Let's see. There we go. We can pop those all on. I'm wondering if these are going to be a little bit taller than the other ones, because they seem to have a little bit of an extra going on up here, but we'll check it out in a minute and see. Yeah, they are just a little bit taller, so in the vase they can sit just a little bit higher than them. Okay, so I don't think we're done quite yet though, because we haven't done the leaves, so we won't put him too far away. So I'm always on the lookout, you know, which set's really gonna impress me and get me excited to build it and display it. I would like to get the Spider-Man artwork that came out. That one looks like someone that would be pretty cool to build. So I've got my eye on it. I used to be deathly afraid of spiders, and then I moved down to the southern side of the States, and I kind of had to get a little bit more used to them. Okay, now it looks like we're gonna put one there, because this just free spin, so it doesn't really matter where you put them, but they're putting one next to another here. Okay, look at that. That's really cool. So yeah, because of that, which is actually nice in the vase that they can kind of shift around, because then if they're in the way. All right, I'm gonna start putting these back here with the other ones. All right, almost done with our dozen roses. But that one was really cool the way they did it, so I'm really excited about this next one. All right, lots of roses going on back there. Let's move on to bags number, I'm assuming 5 and 6. I had forgotten about the baby's breath, but it looks like we're going to actually start with making those. But let's see, you know what we're going to do first. Okay, that might be enough to get us going here. All right, so they're going to first start with 2 leaves that they're kind of doing this with. Okay, and then they take these lovely green stems that have 6 prongs coming off of them. I really like these, because you know the traditional ones it was just 3 that would come off. And then, okay, so this is going to take a bit, because we all know what baby's breath looks like. Let's see, it's got on all of every single little stem or prong coming off, it's got a little white flower. So there you go. So then it goes on like that, and then we're going to do 3 of those for each, and then we're going to do actually 4 stems of baby breath. So we're going to be here for a minute doing this, but that's okay. So I know I've told you about my puppy. He's about 7 months old. He's a Cocker Spaniel. And I'd read, he's the first Cocker Spaniel that I've ever owned. Did a lot of research and reading on him before we got him. And I knew that they were very attached to their owners and could even struggle with, you know, separation anxiety and stuff. So we kind of knew that going in. Our Schnauzers are very devoted and faithful to us. But they definitely can stand on their own 2 feet when they need to. I pretty much am never alone though. They are always with me. All right, look at that. So we finished one. Isn't that beautiful? We'll set this aside. We won't do his stem yet. We'll work on the next 3. But and I had read that the Cocker Spaniels could be, you know, compared to Schnauzers, they were a little bit more, you know, attached, devoted to their owners. So I was like, okay, knew that going in. But this little boy, oh my goodness, he definitely could struggle, I believe, with separation anxiety. He seems to do okay when we leave. As far as we can tell, he's not, you know, coming back and looking really distraught or anything like that. He does a really good job of going in his kennel and hanging out really for, you know, short little times. But talk about devoted, this boy never leaves my side. I mean, he will be asleep and I'll just run from one room to the other just to grab some water or something, and hope he's up and he's following, and he never lets me go anywhere without him. And I worry about that, and I'm keeping a very close eye on it, because I know he needs to be able to be okay if I'm not there. But he's extremely devoted and faithful. So it's been a bit challenging to always have him kind of glued to me. He's fine going with the other members of the, you know, the family and stuff, but he's definitely a mama's boy, and so I have a couple shadows nowadays. Okay, oh wait, I put the leaf together before. That's fine. Go back to making little flowers though. It's going together a little faster than I thought it would. But I probably need to, in May, we're going to be traveling up for my son's graduation, and we're going to have to leave him for a few days, and he hasn't quite had to do that yet, so I'm thinking maybe we need to take an overnight trip and see how he does with the sitter, and make sure he's getting used to that kind of idea. But I know he does better when the Schnauzers, I call them, the girls, are around, because they are comforting to him, so he'll be with them. And he absolutely loves the cats that we have there. One in particular, they're just really best buds. They're always running around the house playing with each other. One of our cats in particular was raised by the puppies, the Schnauzers, and so she does really, really well with dogs. And they just love her in turn. I'll ask them, "Where's your kitty? Go find your kitty," and they go find her, and they're just playing, tumbling around. It's fun. It's fun to have them all work together so well. Okay, one more of the little flower clusters here. I love these. I could have just a whole bunch of these. I wanted to grow a baby's breath plant, and I was going to put it in the backyard with the roses, but I could be wrong about this. I need to double check, but I believe that they're poisonous to dogs, and so I don't want to put anything back there that is, just in case. Okay, so we have what looks like a dumbbell or a lightsaber hilt, and we're going to attach those to these rods. This is fun. This is something I haven't seen before in the floral. And there's going to be 4, and we're going to create the thin little stem. Look at that. And then we'll just put that right up into there, and we have our baby's breath. That's really cool. Put that over there with our flowers. So I was kind of bummed out about that I didn't feel like I could plant those. which the schnauzers, they don't really eat plants, although my my black schnauzer teddy Joe, she's more of a charcoal color than a black, but she is counting to make sure I had enough there. She loves roses. She loves the rose petals. She likes to take a nibble at them, so I have to watch. She once in a while will do a run by and grab a rose that's down low and kind of have a little snack, but for the most part she leaves them alone unless I offer one to her, and then she'll get excited and have a little snack. But the Wally, my Cocker Spaniel, now he does like to eat more plants, so I have to be careful, and I'm glad I didn't plant anything that he can't have, because the pansies that are planted on the patio right now, he thinks that he should grab a pansy as he's running out to the backyard every time. He'll just grab one and then keep on running as he munches on it. I'm like, not the pansies, and but they can't hurt him, so he has a little snack. He prefers the purple ones too, which is kind of funny. All right, made all of those, and now we're going to move on to our final rose type. And we're going to make 4 of those because I did everything in 4s. And it looks like we get to put a thorn on these too. This one must have missed the pruning shears also. I like the dark burgundy that they used for these thorns, because the thorns actually kind of almost have that appearance to them on the bushes. At least on mine, they kind of have that coloring. All right, they've got this piece going down on that. And then they put this one on top of that, and then this one on top of that. So that's kind of fun. So we'll do that 3 more times. All right. It's nice how they've done each one different, especially because it can get repetitive. So it's nice that there's a little bit of variety going into each style of the rose. That way you don't get too bored. I do like to do them if I can at the same time, like what I'm doing here for you, because I have a tendency to get slightly annoyed if I have to go back and make the whole rose and then I'm like, oh, I have to make another one. But I don't tend to get as frustrated with the process. Okay. So this is where we actually get to use these red whips that I told you about. So we're going to take this little piece and we're going to have to put the center of the whip into that piece, and then it goes on top of this. Okay, so they're using this as the representation of those final inner petals as it opens up, which is a really cool way of doing it. It gives it the illusion of looking like there's a lot of petals in there without having to make a bunch of layers, which would be difficult and very bulky. Well, that's pretty smart. Flower. Let's see, I'm looking for the last whip and the little black connector. Okay. Alright. Interesting that they put this purplish color under here. Kind of cool. You probably won't see much of it, but right, now we're going to use our little wheel hubs, and we're going to put them them do them a little different than the last one. And we're gonna do, okay. So that's this piece. And we're supposed to make 12 of those. Okay. Make sure I'm doing this right. Got it angled the right way. I'm assuming that this is another petal of some sort. Be pretty consistent with what we've already been doing. Oops, nope, forgot a piece there. I'm excited to actually see how these go together because the use of these pieces were probably one of the coolest parts of the last one we'd made. I'm trying to actually put some more plants in my house. We have some Christmas cactus that we've hung up kind of higher. They're not poisonous, but we've tried to prevent the cats from being able to get to them. But I'd like to see what other plants we could bring in. They really, well, they're not only healthy for your home, but they really add a nice touch. Feels homier, I think, when you see the plants growing. But I've had to hang up the cactuses so that they couldn't get to them. But one of them's hanging. She gets on the windowsill. She can almost reach them. So we have to keep an eye on her, not because they would hurt her, but just because I don't want her to destroy the plants. And cats, you can't really train. They don't think that they should have to obey orders. So my dogs, well, my older dogs for sure, and we're working on the puppy, but they know that one of the biggest no-nos in this house is to chew on any Lego. They do not touch Legos. And they're very good at it. So, you know, if one thing is going to freak their mommy out more than anything, it's if the Lego gets chewed on. So they're really good at leaving them alone. But we're hoping to work on the puppy a bit to help him grasp that concept. Okay, that was a lot of those. All right, now let's see how this is going to go in. So we're going to, these green prongs that are sticking out are going to go up through the hole in that little black piece. And it looks like if we put them in, they're going to overlap. Look at that. Just perfectly. Just fit right in there really snugly because of the way that it separates. So you can tell on this one, they closed up much tighter, but on this one, they're opening up. Isn't that cool? Okay, so we'll put all of those on these. Oops, I'm not in the right direction. So if it's facing me, I put everyone on the right side into the right hole there. And then it fits perfectly together. So once again, a really cool way of creating it. I think they did an incredible job at that one too, making it feel very unique and beautiful. Oops, that little piece does like to kind of want to pop off there, but it could have been because I didn't put it on. I've struggled with two of them wanting to pop off, but maybe I just didn't push them on good. Okay. And then, okay, so this rose is actually pretty easy to put together because now he just Well, now that, oh, I'm like, I'm confused. So on this piece right here, there's actually a round connection under here, so it's got where it could connect in 4 places. And you're just gonna, so here you've got your square, and your square goes right there, and you just put it right in there. And now that's pretty cool because I wasn't expecting the connection of these petals to be that easy, but there you go. Look at that. That's pretty impressive. These are going to go front and center on display somewhere for a while, I think. I need to go out, find a really good vase. I might just have to do that today. Okay. Oops. Now they're kind of tricky because it's, there we go. I might have to take this back off. I was a little bit concerned because when you're pushing on it, because see, it has a little bit of give. Let me see if I can put it back on there. This came off if it's black base there. There we go. Okay. Kind of pushing on it and then, okay. We got it on there. How pretty those are. They're almost as beautiful as the real thing. Okay, there's a whole bunch of these because these are obviously even a little bit taller than the other ones. So it looks like each rose has 10 that go to it. So I'm going to go ahead and just build them up just all the way together instead of making them individually. What I should probably do is separate them out into groups of 10 though. That'd be easier, wouldn't it? Then I wouldn't have to count so much. We'll do this one this way first. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 2 more. All right, so we have 1 long stem, and then let's just see about separating these out into groups of 10s. Make sure I counted this right. Yep. Okay, that'll make the work even faster. Put these together. I like these little red pins. You have to have the right pieces to go into them because they have the ridges on each side, but they make really nice secure attachments for things. And I like the color of the red. Though after a bit, your fingers can start cramping up a little bit. All right, number 2. Pushing them all in. It's probably why I avoid Technic sets, because it hurt my fingers to put in all the pins. But they can be pretty impressive. They don't feel like, when you make those sets, they don't quite feel like building traditional Legos. My husband made one for the first time and he was like, I didn't even feel like I was building Lego. It's definitely a very different style of building. It even looks different, but okay, last one. We're cruising now. I would say that if you like the botanical collection and you don't have the roses yet, I'd get on the hunt to find some, because they're definitely even more beautiful in person than they are in the pictures or even in the box. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but I find a lot of times that a picture just pales in comparison to to what you can see in real life and with our eyes. Oops, I was wondering why they gave me so many extra ones. We need one on top to be able to hook it onto the rose, of course. So then there's our most open rose. Pop those all together and we will have a completed bouquet. Okay, let me see if I can gather these up for you. So we have put together a collection of the 3 different kinds to show you. And isn't that just really beautiful? Oh, well, how exciting was that? I thought maybe it might be a little bit boring, but it wasn't boring at all to be able to put those together. They're such a beautiful display of roses, and a lot of fun to be able to see the different techniques that were used. And I think you'd be a winner to get that for anybody that you love, or just to get it for yourself. So thanks for watching with me and building these beautiful flowers, and I look forward to seeing you again really soon.